From the mud to the rise, yeah, we built it on the grind. Trench talk, real talk, leave the fake ones behind. We don't fold, we don't break, every move we define. It's the code from the trenches where the real ones align.
What's good, fam? Today we gotta dive deep into some real Detroit street drama, talking about BNG's own BNGB Boom, aka The Godfather, a name that commands respect and fear alike. This ain't no ordinary story. It's raw, gritty, and full of the kind of heat that only comes from the heart of Detroit's streets. So buckle up, get comfy, and let me break down this tragic saga along with the beefs and battles that brought it all to a deadly head. BNG, straight out of Detroit's west side, isn't just a rap crew. They're a movement, a force, a family that's been holding it down heavy both in the studio and on the streets for years. These ain't no newcomers. They're weathered veterans in the game, known for spitting raw, real bars that reflect the harsh realities of life on Detroit's blocks. Among them stood BNGB Boom, affectionately dubbed The Godfather, a respected OG whose voice wasn't just heard, it commanded attention. He brought that heavy lyricism and real talk that cut deep, a storyteller who painted the truth of the city with every verse. But with that kind of respect and power comes enemies, and plenty of them. When you start dissing ops, calling them out on your tracks and social media, you're not just making music, you're lighting fires in a war zone. The Detroit rap scene is more than just beats and rhymes. It's the hood, the streets, the constant grind, and unfortunately, the battlefield. Rival crews like the notorious Cash Gang and Band Gang have been locked in beef for years, their rivalry fueled by old grudges, block loyalties, and the unspoken rules of the streak. Toss in social media trolling and diss tracks, and you've got a volatile mix that's exploded time and again into real violence. This story of BNGB Boom and the deadly ops beef he got caught up in is emblematic of the harder side of Detroit's rap culture, where the line between music and street reality blurs, and sometimes, tragically, crosses over. So let's peel back the layers, hit the streets, and uncover what led to this devastating loss in the D. On August 18, 2025, the streets of Detroit were already heavy with sorrow. BNGB Boom, known on the streets as The Godfather, had just left a funeral repast, a gathering where friends and family came together to mourn a fallen brother from the hood. The atmosphere was thick with grief and pain, but as the night grew darker, the tragedy was far from over for BNGB Boom and his crew. After showing respect to his fallen homie, BNGB Boom headed back to his neighborhood. But somewhere along the way, fate took a deadly turn. Eyewitnesses reported that a burgundy Chrysler pulled up close, its windows dark, shadows moving inside. Suddenly, shots erupted, loud, relentless, cutting through Detroit's night air. Bullets flew quick and deadly. BNGB Boom was caught in the crossfire, taken down in the place he called home. The news spread like wildfire. Social media exploded, with fans, friends, and rivals alike reacting in shock and disbelief. The Godfather, a man whose voice was a powerful echo of Detroit's streets, was gone just hours after he stood among his people, mourning another brother lost to the violence that plagues their city. Amid all the sorrow, what hit hardest was the personal side of the story. BNGB Boom wasn't just a rapper spitting bars and making beats. He was a loving father to 5 kids, someone's son and brother, a man trying to hold it together in a world that keeps shaking. His mother's voice broke through the noise, telling the world that her son was kind-hearted and full of love, far more than the headlines that tried to sum him up. He was caught in a cycle of violence that seems impossible to escape, a victim of Detroit's ongoing battle with itself. Now, you already know how the game goes out here in Detroit. BNGB Boom wasn't one to hold back when it came to calling out the ops. He was straight up fearless, throwing shots not just in his lyrics but also on social media, trawling the haters and rival crews relentlessly. Whether it was in his bars or on Instagram and TikTok, BNGB Boom made sure everybody knew who he was at war with, and he wasn't playing no games. But listen, in the streets of Detroit, dissing ain't just some harmless rap beef, it's a full-on call to arms. When you disrespect the ops, especially in the era of relentless social media trolling, you're practically lighting a fuse. The ops around here take disrespect deadly serious, and with decades of savage beefs behind them, like the infamous rivalry between Cash Gang and Band Gang, things escalate fast. What starts as diss tracks and trolling can turn into street warfare quicker than you can blink. That diss track energy, it's volatile. Each line thrown is like pouring gasoline on a fire, fanning flames in a battle that's been simmering for years. Online trolling ain't just words, it translates to real-life consequences. Every post, every video calling out ops, places a bigger target on your back. And in Detroit, where the rap scene is tightly woven into the street life, you can't separate the two. Spill one disrespectful line, and you might just end up in the crosshairs, caught in the deadly fallout of a beef that ain't no longer just music. This definitely ain't the first time BNGB had to mourn a lost soldier. Take Jizzle P, for instance, another rising star from the crew who was brutally shot and killed right in front of his mama back in 2020. That tragic moment shook the city and left a scar on the community that still hasn't healed. Jizzle P was more than just a rapper. He was a beacon of hope for many in Detroit, a young talent with a bright future snuffed out far too soon. Detroit streets have been bleeding talent for years now, and BNGB Boom's death sadly just adds to that painful list of young stars gone before their time. The ops beefs and block wars fueling this violence go way beyond music. They're grounded in long-standing grudges, real-life street politics, and alliances that date back years. Each side holds wounds that spill over into the present, turning every diss or troll attack into a potential flashpoint for violence. The buzz on social media after BNGB Boom's killing was grim and heavy with warnings. Fans and insiders alike were saying, "This cycle ain't stopping, another death's coming." The fear and frustration are real because every loss feels like a repeat of a story Detroit knows too well, one where the streets keep taking from the future to settle yesterday's scores. This is a harsh reminder that in this world, the lines between words and bullets are razor thin. Detroit rap has always been legendary for its raw talent, unfiltered storytelling, and street-real lyrics that hit deep with the community. The city's sound is gritty, authentic, and speaks the truth of life on the blocks, a voice for those out here grinding every day. But right now, that incredible wave of creativity and talent is facing a serious threat. This rising tide of violence is threatening to drown out everything the culture stands for. BNGB Boom wasn't just another rapper in the mix. He was a symbol of that Detroit grit and power, a figure who carried the spirit of the city in every verse he spit. His presence in the rap game was a representation of strength, resilience, and the raw reality of the streets behind the music. His death shakes the very foundation of Detroit's culture, leaving fans, artists, and the community at large wondering some heavy questions. Are the beefs, the disses, and the endless trolling really worth the lives they're costing? How many more talented voices have to be silenced before the cycle breaks? The pain in the community runs deep. Mourning BNGB Boom means mourning not just a rapper, but a brother, a friend, a father, and a man who embodied the struggles and hopes of Detroit. People are left questioning how many more will fall, caught in the crossfire of rivalries that seem too deeply rooted, or if peace can ever find a foothold amid the chaos. It's a hard reality with no easy answers. So, as we remember BNGB's BNGB Boom, rest in power to the Godfather, we gotta keep it 100, respect the hustle and the grind, but always be aware of the dangers out here. Dissing the ops and trawling the streets may hype up your name, but it can escalate real quick, and it's already cost the lives of too many gifted artists who had so much more to give. Keep your head on a swivel, stay safe, and always keep it locked right here for the latest coming out of the D. We honor BNGB Boom's legacy by keeping the culture alive with respect and awareness. Peace out.